lab number 26. In this lab we will continue development of our mobile sign-in application, and right now we'll focus on categories. So the idea is within this side menu to have different categories that we are able to select, and then we will need to display the news specifically for this category. And basically we will do that by modifying our menu file. So right now we have the bar stable class for header bar, and we have a title left. We'll change this to category. Categories, let it be like this, and bar stable we will change to bar assertive, the same way as before. And those menu items should be changed respectively to the available RSS feeds that we have. So those one. And basically what we have here are top stories: World, Africa, Americas, Asia, Europe, Middle East, and US. So 7 in total, and we will prepare them in the following way. So if you click on a specific item, for example, top stories, we will initialize the function, we'll call it get data with some parameters. In case of top stories, it will be empty, but in case, for example, of Africa or world, there will be specific things passed. So let's prepare 7 items here, just like this, and then rename them to world and Africa, and then Americas, Asia, Europe, Middle East, and yeah, one more for US. So we also need to pass some parameters here, and those will be just the names. So world, then Africa, and then we have Americas here, and Asia, and also Europe, then Middle East, how it's written, missed, and also US. So just like this, and when we click on a specific item, we should now invoke our function get data with a specific interest passed, and this should probably display our respective news for Africa, for example, or for Asia. So let's check if it's working. Okay, so we do have our news here, and if we click on worlds, it's updating, Africa updating, America, Middle East, yes, so everything works as expected, actually, which is good. And next thing that we will do, actually add some additional functionality from Ionic framework, and for this, first of all, we will go to JavaScript documentation, and we will work a bit with the content. And one of the things that we will add is actually the thing called pull-to-refresh. So this works in the following way, and is really popular in most of the apps that are working with the news, with articles. So if you pull in the screen down, it's refreshing your article. So this is why it's called pull to refresh. And basically, in order to add that, we just need to do the following. So first of all, we will need to add refresher inside our content in our main page. So just after the content, we will have a thing called refresher, ion refresher. So this one. And when actually we will pull down the screen, it should call the function called do refresh. So let's create this one. So just inside the controllers, let's create a new function called do refresh. And what it will be doing, it will be actually calling our get data function. So scope get data. The trick here is if we will just call get data without parameters, then it will take top stories. But if you are allocated this in somewhere else, for example in Europe or in Asian news, we would like to refresh actually the Asian news. So we need to pass here the specific interest. So something like this. And we need to remember this interest somehow. So the easiest option to do that is while we are inside our data to, for example, specify the interest here, like saving whatever we have here as an input parameter to interest variable. Just like this, and we need to initialize it on the top level to be accessible across the scope and not only inside our function. So let's do it like this. So scope interest just like this. So basically now when we are doing refresh, we should be able to see the changes, but as you probably saw in documentation, there is one more thing that we need to do. We need to send the broadcast when the refresh is complete. So this event is required to stop actually the refreshing thing. So if we won't set the broadcast, we'll be seeing the scrolling, this loading thing forever. So the only thing that we will need to do is actually we'll need to copy this part of code with the broadcast and pass it somewhere. And the best option to pass it will be inside our client invoke procedure callbacks. So either it's a success or failure. We anyway need to send the broadcast that it's completed. And now let's check how it's working. So let's back to our news. And if we pull it down, we are now refreshing the news. So for example, let's go to America and try to pull down. So as you see, the new adapter call is initiated and we have new results down there in the console. So it's working just as we expected, which is really good. And basically, the next thing that we will add, the next functionality part that we will add some filtering. So I mean the search option to search the specific things among the news. And to do that, we will actually again use Ionic, and we will go back to CSS. it should be under forms. So something like this. So this is the part of the code that we will need. This is our search field inside the header. We just need to grab this and paste this part in our main HTML. So before our content, we will have our bar with the search, but this is not a good idea to have it in the header because we have a title there. So let's use something different, which called subheader. So the subheader is something that displayed right after the header. So we will use this one, bar subheader. So let's check how it looks. So you now see in the search, which actually covers a part of our data, and it doesn't do anything. So right now we need to focus on that, and I think it will be better if this one will be in some other color. For example, if it will be red in the same way as our news. So let's go back to our code and change the few things. So let's do it the same red color with bar assertive. Then let's do some kind of filtering. So in order to do that, we will actually do the following. We will use ng model assigned to our input values that we will do search with, like search filter. And then we will apply the filtering to our collection repeat with this filter that we used inside the input. So it will look like this: filter, search, filter. So now anytime we are typing anything in this input field, it should apply that filter to our data. And actually it already should work. The only thing is this cancel button. Let's change this to clear. It will be more easier. And let's specify the action that if we will click on this button, our filter will get empty. So just like this, search filter equals to null. Something like this should work. And let's check what we just did. Okay, so let's update the app. So it's now red, it's looking better. Let's check if search is working. Let's search for this, for example, inside. No, it's not working. So let's check what we did wrong. So I forget to include R here, and because we already seen that our content is actually covered by this subheader, we need to add one more class, and this class called has subheader, and it should be included as a part of our content in order subheader not to cover this content. So it's pretty simple. Let's do it. Here, let's add class has subheader, just like this. And let's do build and deploy once again. So let's go back to our app and try to refresh it. Now we see the news after the header, so just as we expected. And let's check, for example, for woman. And you see that filtering is actually working. Let's check for Kenya. For example, it looks like too much of Kenya. Okay, inside, excellent, CNN, or something like college. Yeah, and our clear button just clears the filter. So filter is fully working, just as we expected. And of course, we have also a refresher here that is also working. So on this step, our lab 2.6 is finished. Thank you.